Sorry that it has taken me so long to record this video. This weekend has been crazy. I've been trying to get my office set back up, and I've just been it's been all over the place. So I'm happy that I have finally got the time to record this and to get it posted, because I've been wanting to record this for the last couple of days. So this is just going to be some quick little tips to aid you in preparing for your finals. For this is, I guess it could be used generally, but for AP1 or AP2, whatever you're taking, okay? So first off, I know that these last few weeks of school are usually jam-packed with a lot of stuff. You have the final test that you're taking in there. Maybe you have projects that are due. You may have other things that are due for your other classes. And the final is really the last thing that you really want to think about, because it's like, how are you going to fit in studying for a comprehensive final when you have 15 million other things due? And on top of that, it's not only school. You have a life. You have, many of you have kids, and that's a whole other ball game in itself. You also have to take care of household duties and just think other things too. So it is hard to fit in. So the first thing that I suggest is make a plan. So I know if you don't have a planner by now, you should get a planner. It could even be like a $5 one from Walmart. It doesn't even matter. Just any kind of planner that you can write down and really plan out your days, because at this point in the semester, it's crucial. And I forget, we also have Thanksgiving and everything coming up. So this is just, everybody's schedule is all over the place. We are all busy and we're all just trying to make it work. So just get organized. Get you a planner. Or if you have a planner, go to your section for this week and next week. So I have mine set up for this week, so the 24th through the 30th. And then I've even got it down to the 1st through the 7th. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, get the date, get your planner, and kind of section off sometimes. Go through the next 2 weeks. Figure out when your final is, okay? So, for example, my lecture final is on December 9th. So, in the next 2 weeks, so if yours is on the 9th, for example, go through and block off time slots for each day that you can set aside just to study for lecture final, if that's what you're aiming to study for, or your lab final, whatever. But you need to set off times just for that, okay? So another thing that I do is most teachers, and it's a departmental study guide, will provide you with a study guide that will list certain things that maybe you should focus on. So it's not every single thing that we've learned, but it'll be maybe 6 or 4 to 5 or whatever key points of each chapter, and they're all highlighted and listed out, okay? If you do not have this, let me know. Send me a message or whatever, and I can provide you with the one that for AP1, if I can find it. I know I have the 2 one, but I'm sure I can get an AP1 one. But this is just a departmental final study guide, okay? So you want to go through and divide it up. So if you have blocked off a time slot for Monday the 25th, okay, you need to write down what you're going to be studying in that time slot. Don't cram it all together. So if you have, for example, the endocrine system, that's the first chapter that we went over. So I'm going to write that down in my time slot, and I'm not going to move on to the next chapter until I'm finished studying for that one. I've retained it and I feel good. Because if you're trying to put it all, like study for everything all at once, it's too much. You're going to be too overwhelmed, and 9 times out of 10, none of it's going to stick. So if you just break it off into little bitty sections, it helps so much. Another thing is, decide where you're going to study at. So for me, I really have to have a quiet, secluded place. I like silence, and I like to pretty much be by myself when I'm learning. So figure out, and at this point in the semester, you should already kind of have an idea of what works best for you when you're studying. Are you the person who needs to be in a study group? Are you the person who needs to listen to music? Do you do best writing your notes? Do you do best typing your notes? You should already have that kind of figured out. If what you have been doing all semester hasn't worked for you, now's the time to visit another idea, okay? So if you have been studying in a group all semester and it hasn't helped you, now might be the time to kind of remove yourself from that group and study alone. And vice versa. You know, now this is a crucial time period. A lot of people are depending on these finals to either get them a C so they can pass, or to get them to the point where they can pass with a B, whatever it may be. It's a crucial time for a lot of people. This could be, it is worth 25% of your grade. This could be a make or break moment. If you don't do so well in this, that might mean that you're in the position now that you have to retake the class, and nobody wants to do that. So really evaluate how you've been studying, if it has helped, if you've been successful, or and if it hasn't, try to think about what things you can do differently that might help you. It's all trial and error. So if you're the person who doesn't know where to study, I can't really study in my house unless I am closed off in my office, okay? So I go to the library a lot, the Jefferson Parish, East Bank Regional, I don't know, it has a long name, but I go to that library a lot. They have study rooms that you can rent for free that are just like little rooms. They have like a little key slot thing that you, like a hotel key kind of thing. So if you need to run to the bathroom, you don't have to bring all your stuff. It's safe. Also, it's quiet. There's no distractions, because again, I like silence. So those work well for me. I like to go there and get those study rooms. If you're meeting with a group, there are group study rooms that you can rent at Delgado's library for, I think you can get them for 2 hours at a time. If there's not a lot of people there, sometimes they'll let you, if you're like, oh, can we go an extra hour? Just kind of plan it out and see. If you're the person who likes to study in the Science Resource Center, that's a great place to study. You have tutors there, and those are resources, including myself. That's a resource that's there for you. And it also provides you an area away from your house or away from a distracting environment. Coffee houses, coffee shops, I'm sorry. That's another place that, you might want to try out. So just really try to figure out and write this all in your plan. For that day on Monday, you're going to write out like what time that you're going to be studying, what you're going to be studying, where you're going to be studying, and how. So really figure out, what am I going to be doing? Am I going to be writing these? Am I going to read? Like really just plan ahead, because planning is, if you have a plan, you are more successful at not failing, just make you a plan. Okay, so what to study? I've already kind of talked about the little study guide, right? Also at this time, what you could be studying is just using your notes that you've taken all semester. Maybe you want to go through those and go through, like if you have the study guide, right? The final study guide, and you see what all is listed for the endocrine system. Go back to your notes that you've taken for the endocrine system and kind of compile them. Don't read those notes verbatim. Rewrite them. Now we're going to be writing whatever we can remember, right? Whatever you can remember about it, things that you can't, maybe things that stuck out to you the most, or maybe that your teacher put the most emphasis on. If you have any recorded lectures, listen to those lectures again at this time and take new notes on them. Like just take new notes. And kind of get new ideas, and then use those new ones and compile the ones that you've taken over the semester to really give you the best what am I trying to say? To give you, just a lot of information, or the best resource that you can give yourself to really compile your final study guide. Reviewing tests. Okay, so some teachers, and this is not every teacher, so you will have to take this up with your teacher, but some teachers will let you review your tests that you've taken over this semester and kind of see what you missed. If not, maybe you can plan a meeting with your teacher to kind of help you identify those weak areas that you struggle with through the semester. If you're having a problem figuring out what your weak points were, I'm sure that your teacher can help you identify those. So it's important to identify your weak points, because if it's something that you struggle with, like say you struggle with the endocrine system and you didn't really retain any of the hormones, or you kind of got confused over what each one of them are, say, what's a good one? Aldosterone versus antidiuretic. Okay, so if you kind of got confused on the differences of those, or how each one of them work, kind of where they come from, really go back to the parts of the semester that you struggle with and pay extra attention. Now is your time to kind of refresh yourself and learn it and try to get it, because if you struggle with it, and if you struggle with it already on your last test, 9 times out of 10, you're going to struggle with it on the final. So, identify your weak points. Practice. When I say practice, what I listed this here, what came to my mind is what I do, and this is just me personally, is I will try to write out, like say that I take antidiuretic hormone, for example. I'm kind of going to quiz myself about it. So I'm going to write it down, antidiuretic hormone. And I'm going to try to remember its function, where it comes from, why we would need it. Just try to remember, I guess, what is it called? Brainstorming, or just brain dumping, right? Just try to remember everything I can about it. And then I'm going to go back and read the notes or whatever and see what I might have gotten wrong, what I got right, and that helps me a lot. That helps me retain things. Because during the semester, a lot of students would tell me, oh, on the lecture test, the parts where I have to write short answers are the worst. Like I struggle with that the most. And I would always tell them, like, well, it's easy those are the parts that I like, because that's how I study. I like to write things down and make a list and kind of go about it that way. So, it really does help just writing it out and trying to put it into your own words. If you can put something in your own words, it will help you to understand it and also help you retain it. So that's a good way too. So let's move on. Okay, so number one tip, maximize any time that you have. We kind of talked about that at first. Like, we're in a busy time. There's a lot going on. And you're not going to have a lot of time to, or at least I don't think that I, know a lot of people who would have hours and hours and hours every day to devote to studying for one final. So the time that you do have, that you have blocked off, maximize that time. You need to really go into it, like, just don't waste it, just use that time to benefit you, because this is, it's going to come so fast. These next 2 weeks are going to fly by, and you don't want to look back and be like, man, I wish I would have studied harder in that time block instead of playing around on Facebook or something like that, Utilize any resources. So one big resource is the tutoring lab. That is free to every student. All you have to do is come in and tell us what you need help on, and we're going to help you. That's a great resource. If your teacher has office hours, you might want to set up an appointment to go meet with her or him so that you can kind of ask questions about things that you might not have understood. But before you go to those meetings, or before you go to like the tutoring lab or a tutor or whatever, make you a list out of everything that you would like to talk about or everything that you're struggling with. Don't go into it blindly. Go in knowing like, hey, I need to really ask her about the antidiuretic hormone because I really don't understand that. Write it down, because if you don't write it down, you might forget. I know that myself that I always have to write down things like that, because you get in there and you get to talking and your brain just, it just blanks and you don't know what you went in there for. And then you might leave not even accomplishing your goal. So utilize your resources. These resources too could be like YouTube videos. YouTube is great for learning things. Your textbook is amazing, but I would not suggest just reading the chapter or reading the PowerPoints or reading the lab manual. If you're not comprehending what it's saying when you're reading it, then you're wasting time. You really need to take it so you read it, get an idea, and say if you're reading about the antidiuretic hormone, read the sentence or read the little paragraph, stop, close the book, go to a resource. So go to YouTube, go to the PowerPoint, go to your notes, whatever you have, and learn about it that way and fully understand what it's saying. Then go back to the book and read it, and then you'll comprehend what the book is trying to say. So eliminate any distractions. This kind of goes back to where you're going to study, right? When we're talking about where you would study. Distractions could be if you're at your house, and this is the number one reason I hate studying at my house. Any housework or just things that you could be doing at your house is going to distract you. Trust me. And I know you probably know what I'm talking about. You'll be sitting there studying. You'll be like, oh, I really should just go wash that load of clothes right now. Or I really want to. Oh, my big thing is my dogs. I got to let them out. Let them out, and they'll come back inside. Then I have to give them a treat. And then 5 minutes later, they're wanting to go back outside again. And I never get anything done. It's just broken time and just distractions. Maybe you have somebody that's watching the TV in the house. My husband loves to watch his football games, which is great. That's all cool. But sometimes I can't sit in the room and try to study when he's watching TV because it's just noise and it's kind of pulling your focus, right? So just try to eliminate those distractions. When you're going into your studying time, turn your phone off, or at least turn the ringer off and say, okay, I'm not going to touch it. This is my study time and I'm just going to, use this for studying, and it will help you because that all goes back to maximizing your time. Write, list, drop, which we kind of already talked about that a lot. But if it's a process, like say, I don't know, the path of sperm or something, right? Draw you a diagram out. That helps a lot. That helps you to kind of like put it in order, or it could even be drawing like the blood flow through the heart or something. Draw you a heart and put it. That helps me. I don't know, but it's just like finding what helps you best. Sleep and eat. I'm the worst at this. So make sure that you're getting enough sleep and make sure you're taking breaks to eat, because if not, you're not going to be able to focus and you're not going to be 100%. It's not going to be beneficial for you. So just take care of yourself. This final is not going to be the end of the world. I promise. It's not worth losing every minute of your sleep and letting your health decline because you're not taking time to eat. So just take care of yourself, okay? Taking breaks. Every couple hours, take a break. Not like an extravagant break, like, oh, I'm going to sit down and watch a whole TV show, but take you a break. Go walk around for a little bit. Go to the bathroom. Check your phone a little bit. Like, just take a break to set your mind off of it. And then when you're finished, like, even if you have to set a little timer, like, okay, I'm only going to take a break for 10 minutes. When that timer goes off, everything goes back. And you go back with a fresh mind and you're ready to do some more work. Okay? And I guess the biggest thing here is procrastination. Procrastination will not help you. Even though it might seem overwhelming that this final is coming, it's got so much material on it and da 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 da. If you procrastinate about it, it's not going to solve any of your problems. Start now, start sooner than later, because it's coming. It's coming. Okay. So just know that you have this. Just be confident in yourself. We put so much time and energy into these classes and we pour everything into them. But you have to believe in yourself that you know what you're doing, or you understand this, and that you can take this final and pass it, because you can. But if the mind is a powerful thing. If you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to pass this, or I'm going to do so bad on this, I can't fit in the time, then you're not going to be able to. If that's what you believe, and that's what you're kind of speaking out into the universe, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You have to be positive and believe in yourself, because the mind is powerful, and you're your number one supporter. You gotta advocate for yourself. Don't stress. Now, I know this is like, how are you not going to stress? You're going to stress. Everybody stresses over this stuff. But when you're going into the test, just try to remain as calm as possible. Just know that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Don't stress yourself out to the point where you're so anxious taking this test that you're going to mix up the answers on stuff that just take your time and remain calm, and just know, this is it. This is what I've been preparing all semester for. So, just try to take you a little breath and take a chill pill. It's going to be okay. Another thing, being realistic. I see this a lot, and I don't want to be mean saying this, but You really do. You have to be realistic. If you have made a C on every test so far, and you're trying to make a 95 on the final, or like a 98 on the final, because that's what you need to make a B or what, that's not realistic. If you haven't made A's on the test so far, or you haven't done A's and B's, or you haven't done great on all the tests, and you've struggled your way through it, most of the time you're not going to be the person who makes 100 on your final. It's just not going to happen. I don't think. I mean, but you have to be realistic. You can't put that much pressure on yourself. I mean, that's the same as like someone who's done really great on the test all year and making an F on the final. I mean, it's just not realistic. I mean, they've made good grades on their tests. They've retained the material. They understand the questions and everything. They're going to be okay. Like, you're going to be okay on your final. But just don't set yourself up like, oh my God, I have to make a 98 on this final, or I'm not going to be able to make this. Just don't do that. Just take it as it comes and be realistic with yourself. Because when you set unrealistic goals, that just leads to you not being able to accomplish them. Then you're going to feel bad about yourself, and you're going to feel like you didn't accomplish anything. And that's not the truth. You just have to set realistic goals for yourself, okay? Lastly, be proud of your accomplishments. And I've said this so many times, but these classes are so hard. And if you have passed it, and I don't even care if you passed it with a C, if you've passed it, then you're doing a lot better than most people. These classes are hard. And to say that you passed it is an accomplishment in itself. Recognize like how hard you've worked all semester and how much you've put into the hours to study and the hours to learn the lab models and everything like that. You've put in a lot of work, and you need to be proud of everything that you've accomplished and everything that you've learned. Don't be so hard on yourself, okay? So there it is. That's my tips. If you have any questions, drop me a comment. Let me know. If you enjoyed my tips, or if this video has helped you, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching, and good luck on your finals.